So now we're going to go over all the campground setup on our motorized Class C division. The three things we're going to go over are the three lifelines of every RV, which is going to be water, sewer, electric. First thing we're going to go over is going to be the electricity. So this is going to be a 30 amp, 120 volt AC service of the RV. As you can see, this is a 30 amp service plug. What you want to know about this is a 25-foot shore power cord. It's built into the motorhome itself. This is what you're going to be plugging into the campsite. But a reminder is this should always be plugged into either the campsite or directly plugged back into the generator circuit. So once you close the circuit with this cord, what that's going to do is that's going to allow the generator to supply power upstairs while you're in transit going down the road. First troubleshooting tip is if this is unplugged and you leave the campsite and you turn your generator on, nothing's going to work up top as far as household appliances go. But let's go back to setting up with a campsite. So inside this compartment, there's going to be a little porthole that I'm going to run down the cord through. That way I can shut this compartment when I'm all done with my setup. So in theory, we would have an RV electric pole right here, 30 amp service. What I would do is I would plug this this cord into that 30 amp service and check the breaker on the pole. A lot of times vacant sites have the breakers turned off. So I would plug this in, flip the breaker on, and what that would do is then start supplying household power upstairs into the RV itself. So that's electricity. When I'm ready to leave for my next campsite, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run this back through the porthole, always plug back into the generator. Remember, connected to something at all times. Second thing inside this specific compartment is going to be our coax cable, and there's a part cable inlet right over here on the left wall. So what we would do is screw this in there, run the other end through there, and hook into the campsite's part cable inlet if they have one. A couple other things we're going to go over. You're going to find a water hose in this compartment, and you're going to find a sewer hose. Sewer hose is connected end to end, so it doesn't have any leak out in between your discharges. So first thing we'll go over is sewer. When I disconnect end to end, you're going to see you have a female bayonet fitting and a male bayonet fitting. The female is always going to go to the motorhome. So once again, another port that I'm going to run this up through so I can shut the compartment when I'm done camping. This is going to be a slinky hose that you can actually extend out. Sewer cap is right here on the discharge. I'm going to remove the sewer cap. I'm going to hook the sewer hose in, make sure it's nice and tight. So let's talk about the two different types of tanks on every RV. There's a black handle for black water, a gray handle for gray water. Black is straight down the toilet only, that's the bad stuff. Gray water is sink and shower collection, that's the not so bad stuff. So anytime I'm gonna discharge, I wanna discharge black first, shut the valve, gray second, so it'll rinse the hose out. First thing we're gonna talk about also is gonna be that you do not want to open both valves at the same time. It can cause cross-contamination to the tanks. So as my discharge is hooked up, my other end would actually be at the campsite. You would screw this 3-inch 90-degree elbow fitting into the ground, and you would hook the male end of your pipe into that. So in theory, that would be in the ground currently. I would triple check all this before I go getting ready to discharge and pull any handles. But what I would do at this point when I feel good about it, I would grab this black T handle, pull out about 3 inches, and what that blade valve will do is let the black discharge into the ground. I would listen for the flow to stop. I would shut the black water off, and then I would pull the gray water second, once again letting all the flow out till it stops. I would walk all the liquids out of my hose. I would disconnect off of my 90-degree elbow. Don't forget to bring this with you. Don't leave it at the campsite. I would then disconnect my other part of my sewer hose end to end so it doesn't leak out in my compartment on my luggage. That goes right back in. Replace the cap, and you're good to go for sewer. So the next thing we're going to go over is going to be our water. There's two ways to supply water to every RV. First way is this: if you're at a campsite, you can actually hook into the city water connection. That goes right here. You can see it labeled here. I would take my white drinking water hose. It's white, so it doesn't give you that rubbery taste when you're brushing your teeth. So what we would do is we would actually hook into this. Other end would go into the spigot of the campground, and we would turn that on, and what that would do is that would pressurize all the systems upstairs. It's not filling any tanks at this point. What you're doing is you're working all of the upstairs faucet and shower off of the city's water pressure. When I'm done, I would shut the faucet off, disconnect, I would remove my hose and throw it in my compartment. The second way to supply water to every RV is going to be the potable water tank. So you have 50-gallon built-in tank into the RV that's actually filled through this gravity fill here. So in the event when I was leaving my campsite and I wanted to top off my water tank, what I would do is take my hose, I would jam it into my gravity fill, turn my water back on, fill it up till it overflows or the monitor panel is reading full. Inside of the motorhome, you'll also have a monitor panel where you can read fresh water, black water, and gray water levels. So once it's full, I would then pull it out, connect it end to end, throw it back in the compartment. So what you'll also find on our Class C's is there's tons of exterior storage. All of these compartments around the side are all going to be additional storage. What I would recommend is once you've utilized the sewer hose, this is a great compartment to store the sewer hose after its first utilization. There you have it, guys. This is how to set up the 3 lifelines for camping. Thank you.